Fellow Kenyans, I want to inform you that the Ministry of Health has confirmed the first coronavirus case in Kenya.
The economic impact of COVID-19 on women in micro, small and medium enterprises, which accounts for 40% of the global revenue, is devastating.
Kazi yangu mimi ni mkate, na supply mkate shule. Na kama hakuna shule hakuna kazi inatumika.
In Kenya, immediately after the confirmation of the first case of the coronavirus in March 2020, the government took a number of measures to curb the spread of the disease. These included the implementation of a dusk to dawn curfew, restriction of movement, closure of markets to enforce social distancing measures, use of personal protective equipment or PPE, observing proper hygiene, and the suspension of international flights, among other protocols.
Sanitizer saisi nimeuliza kwa chemist tunakuta ni 150. Hii 150 mimi mwenyewe nimetoka mtu hapa na mguu, na si mtu hapa tu. Nimetoka kule ndani na nakuja na mguu hapa. Nina take almost 1.5 hours nikiwalk. Na nina walk asubuhi na jioni. Nitanunua sanitizer ama nitanunua mask ama nitanunua chakula. Na niko na watoto. So unakuta kwangu mimi siwezi afford.
Whereas these measures were well-intentioned, women in micro, small and medium enterprises that contribute approximately 20% to Kenya's GDP are facing a lot of challenges, with many finding themselves jobless, while others have closed their businesses completely.
Mtu hata nunua nguo ati aje ashone na tumbo inataka. Sasa kazi nimeshimamisha, juu hakuna mtu analeta nguo amshonee. Atakuja kuundisha nguo na iko na njaa. Haingizi kwanza. Watu walitoshewa kwa makazi. Juu ya nini? Msongamano kuhusu corona. Corona imetuasili kikubwa sana.
It's early in the morning and we meet Gladys Ayuma, a mother of 6 and a resident of Kawangware Slums, arriving at her favorite job hunting spot in Kilimani Estate, Nairobi. She joins a group of fellow job seekers seated by the roadside after sanitizing their hands as required by the government. Since March 2020, Gladys and her colleagues have been waking up every day to come and sit outside people's residential areas, trying their luck in finding a day job just to feed their families.
Kabla corona iingie, kazi tulikuwa tunapata wa mama. Unafanya kazi, tajiri anakusaidia hata 1,000, 2,000 ama 15, wengine 500. Lakini tangu corona ikuje, kazi ikapotea. Tukaambiwa na watosi mtatuletea corona. Tumehangaika sana. Tunakaa kwa barabara kutoka asubuhi mpaka usiku. Hakuna kazi mtu anakuchukua. Hakuna unga tunapata. Nyumba za wenyewe achende wanakuja wanafunga. Kama mimi tangu corona ianze huko Kawangware sijawahi enda kazi. Watoto wanalia, wanaingia kwa manyumba ya watu. Ukirudi jioni unatoka kutafuta kazi, unaambiwa mtoto alikula chakula niliwekea watoto yangu. Huyo mama anaanza kelele na mimi nashindwa nitafanyaje.
And in Majengo Slums, commercial sex workers have not been spared either by this pandemic. As a way of maintaining social distancing measures, the government closed all social joints or bars. This has left many commercial sex workers like Rita Wanjiru, not her real name, and her colleagues struggling to make ends meet as their clients have disappeared for fear of contracting the virus.
Wateja hawakuji, bado tunawaokopa, wanatuokopa. Hali ikiendelea hivi itatudhuru sana. Na sisi tunaumia kwa sababu tuko na watoto wako primary, wako wengine wako secondary na sina hela.
approximately 152 kilometers northwest of Nairobi. We meet Grace Mumbi, a 30-year-old horticultural farmer and trader. She's busy tending to the crop on her 3-hectare farm in Olkalau constituency, where she grows fresh cowpeas, which she supplies in Nairobi. Grace says her farm used to hire about 10 workers in a week, but since COVID-19 started in Kenya, she has witnessed huge losses as transportation of produce and access to markets became a challenge due to the restrictions of movement in and out of Nairobi.
Vile serikali iliweka curfew, ndivyo mambo yalibadilika, kwa sababu wakiweka curfew hakuna kuenda kupeleka hii mishiri because inaenda wakati wa jioni.
Nilikuwa naitwa Aisha Bairu, ni vune mishiri na kupalilia. Tangu sasa corona ikuje, wakasema watu wasikaribiane, wavae mask. Sikuweza kununua mask, nikaona nikae nyumbani ili nijikige na hiyo ugonjwa. Na pia imenidhuru sana kwa sababu nimeshida kukiga familia yangu na mahitaji ya nyumbani, nimeshida sasa.
With the suspension of international flights, enterprises involved in the export markets are reported to have experienced huge logistical challenges. With fewer flights available and an increase in the cost of freight, many businesses were forced to operate below 30% of their capacity and losing up to 50% of their projected income. This led to a mass staff layoffs and a complete change of business strategy.
COVID came as a surprise to most of us. We were at the peak of our production and in fact waiting to sell our Valentine and Easter product. But of course COVID disrupted everything. We could not export, neither could we remove the produce which was in the field. So we had to have a drastic loss trying to destroy whatever crop was in the field and just wait for a better day. But the better day never came. So we had to lay off the workers to tell them to go because unless you are selling, you can't pay the workers.
With no international markets to sell her flowers, Elizabeth turned to the local market and started growing vegetables, hoping to generate some little money to keep her business going. But she was shocked to find out that the local market had already been invaded.
When COVID came, everybody, even those people who were kicked out of work, they thought they would go and do agriculture. They would go and start selling bogas on the street, selling vegetables, everything on the street. So the market was so congested. So even what you had in the farm could not get a market. It ended up being a very frustrating issue.
It's a Wednesday afternoon and we meet Judith Odera, a 38-year-old mother of 4, a head teacher and an entrepreneur, inspecting her school premises based in Majengo Slums in Nairobi.
Here is grade 1.
The classes are empty and dusty as all schools were closed following the outbreak of Covid-19 in Kenya.
We have different categories of children. Number 1, we provide preschool teaching, that is from PP1 to grade 4. We also have the lower primary and we have the upper primary. Our school has a total population of 384. We have 15 teachers and 3 subordinate staff.
She says the closure of schools by government due to COVID-19 has put her business in a precarious financial situation, and as a result, many of her teachers have lost employment and can't afford their basic needs.
We have lost a total of 9 teachers. 6 have gone to the rural home. 3 are staying with the relatives because they cannot be able to sustain their families. The rest are still wondering what will happen after this coronavirus comes to an end. We as a school, we have also not been able to pay our rent.
With nothing else to do and desperate to feed her family, Judith decided to start washing people's clothes in Nairobi estates, where she earns $1 or $2 per day to enable her put food on the table.
It has been really hard for me as a mother. I have 4 children. Working in the teaching profession in the school stopped all my income. This has affected me because my children cannot be getting the things that they used to get. They used to eat 3 times in a day. Now they're eating only once. My husband was working in the hotel industry, and the hotel industry was also shut down by the government. So he's always at home sleeping the whole day. So if I don't come out, do some casual jobs, I get 200 or 100 shillings, get some sukuma wiki for my children, that's when my children will eat. If I don't get anything, we go without food.
As a result of COVID-19, many school-going children like Rebecca Williams, a Form 3 student, and her colleagues who come from disadvantaged backgrounds have found themselves selling tea to Jua Kali artisans every day and being paid on commission.
Nilikuja hapa Jua Kali nifanye kazi ili nipate pesa zisaidie ndugu zangu, wadogo zangu na wazazi wangu. Mimi kama mwanafunzi napenda shule zifunguliwe ili nirudi shule kwa sababu hapa wengine wanakula chakula hawalipi.
This has led to an increase in gender-based violence, child labor, teenage pregnancies, and persisting socio-economic and gender disparities that are negatively impacting on their education and health outcomes. And in Kisumu County at Dunga Beach, we meet a group of women cleaning fish that they have just bought from fishermen early in the morning. Pauline Auma, one of the traders with over 11 years of experience in doing this business, says COVID-19 has not only spoiled her business, but has also brought people from other professions, especially teachers, into the business.
Gina kaka jok mane ticho weyo tich, yani jok ma ticho rumonegi, tiere kata manani jok mane puonjo e privates, koro giduogo, jok moko ne loko hala, moko matindo tindo, koro giduogo, koro ok nyalre, kech ohala ok dhi. Koro gineno ni business mitimo mar omena ni ema nyalo dhi piyo nikech koro chiemo ne ema nyalre.
This has led to an increase in the price of fish per tin from 150 shillings to 300 shillings as demand is now higher than the supply. With international and local travel restrictions put in place to contain the spread of the virus, women businesses in the tourism and the hospitality sector, which accounts for approximately 70% of the sector labor force, have also been hit hard by the pandemic.
Nimechona shanga kwa miaka 10. Imenisaidia sana. Nimesomesha watoto wangu na matumizi ya nyumbani. Lakini tangu Covid-19 hii kazi imeathirika sana pakubwa kwa sababu saa hizi hatuna wazungu wenye wanatutembelea kununua hivi vitu ama wageni. Na pia mahali tunaenda kuleta hii materials kama Nairobi zimefungwa. Tumeshukua loans boost hii kazi, lakini kulipa saa hii loan ni shida sana. Ile kidogo unapata unanunua tu unga peke yake. Lakini sasa kulipa loan, kulipa rent ya nyumba sasa imekuwa ngumu sana.
While in Mombasa County, we meet Victoria Nziza in her shop based in Shanzo. She's an international trader who has been running an African art and craft business in the tourism sector for many years. Nziza says COVID-19 has turned her into a beggar, and as all the investment she had made just before coronavirus was confirmed in Kenya is stuck in Brazil due to travel restrictions and market shutdown.
On the 13th, the same day Uhuru announced that we have the first case in COVID-19, the same day I got my visa to Brazil. I was to attend a fair that was starting on the 2nd of April. So I was supposed to travel on the 28th of March. Having sent my goods to Brazil, shipped because we ship in advance, prepared everything, and I was ready to go. So that 13th, I confirmed my reservation, hotel reservation in Kuyaba. On the 17th, the organizer sent me a text. I'm sorry, Victoria, we have confirmed our first case in this city, Kuyaba, and the governor advised that no gatherings until further notice. I was devastated because I thought I would run, do my fare, and come back.
This has put her under huge financial pressure, as her local suppliers have been knocking on her doors daily since April 2020, demanding for payment.
I have these suppliers who call me every now and then because they need their money, and right now I'm not able to pay them, so I'm almost closing my business.
Speaking to Jane Munyao, the chairlady of the East African Women Entrepreneurs at her exhibition shop in Mombasa, she says many of her 4,000 members across the region cannot afford to pay rent, buy food, nor feed their families, as COVID-19 has negatively impacted their small businesses, leading to an increase in social conflicts.
COVID-19 has really affected our family lives and social lives really so much. We have about 3 families who are left without parents because their parents killed themselves, like in Changamwe. There is a family which the husband killed the wife and killed himself because of frustration of COVID. Around here there is a lady who things were stolen, and then instead of taking that crap, she killed herself. There is another one. She was doing very well in business. When the business came down like that, after 4 months, she decided to hang herself. So cases have been so many.
Kenya closed its entry and exit points to its neighboring countries to curb the spread of the virus. This has led to an instant decline in cross-border trade, where micro, small and medium women enterprises play a critical role. For instance, trading activities at the Malaba border declined by more than 50% in Uganda and around 60% in Kenya, as traders were required to have a COVID-19 certificate before being allowed in and out of the country. This led to huge delays in delivery of goods and services.
99% small-scale traders are women who are crossing border every time, every day, when they are going to look their livelihood in neighbor country. During the closure of the border, women being affected so much because they can't get the commodity, they can't reach at their market, can't reach to our customers.
Nafanya biashara ya kuuza machunga. Nanunua machunga kutoka Uganda. Ikiletwa Kenya tunapitia custom, wanakilia from customs. Inapita direct paka hapa transformer, tunaweka kwa gari inaenda nje. Corona imeni affect kwa sababu sijafanya business yangu as normal. Kukaa na watoto kwa nyumba, waendi shule, wanataka kukula na uunda pesa hiyo ya kununua chakula. Hiyo ndio affection nilipata kwa corona.
With majority of women enterprises in Kenya being in the informal sector, over 60% of them remain unregistered. Characterized with low productivity and with little or no savings at all, many cannot access credit facilities, and therefore they have no social protection mechanisms to economic shocks such as those caused by COVID-19. According to a survey done by the Kenya Association of Manufacturers on micro, small and medium enterprises in the manufacturing sector, 76% are having difficulties in locally sourcing or importing raw materials. 40% have reduced their casual workforce. 42% are operating below 50% of their capacity. And 79% are experiencing cash flow constraint, which is affecting their ability to meet their tax obligations, pay employees, and service their loans.
Hello? Yes, it's Dami Joy.
Terry Wangeshi, the co-founder of Dami Joy Skincare Company based in Nairobi, shares her experiences on the pandemic.
Being a natural skincare company, we source for some of our raw materials like the body butters, the shea butters, the cocoa butters from neighboring countries. So during this pandemic, you find the border restrictions that really lengthened the clearing process at the ports affected us, because you find ordinarily when you order for something, a butter, let's say for instance, it takes 3 days maximum, but now during the COVID pandemic, the process would take like a week and a half.
It is for this reason that the Association of Media Women in Kenya, AMWIC, together with her partners, launched a survey in April 2020 to document the impact of the pandemic on women in micro, small and medium enterprises and make policy recommendations to different actors on the way forward.
In March, when we had the situation of the COVID-19 and looking at the protocols and the recommendations that emerged, that people should work from home, that there should be social distancing, and everything that came about with the COVID-19, we reflected, and as partners came together to do an urgent response with regard to women's economic empowerment. We have been documenting these experiences, gathering evidence, and we've now gathered quite some bit of evidence. And therefore we are saying that going forward, we want to present this evidence and this information and deliberate and make policy recommendations or recommendations to different actors that on the way forward in terms of rebuilding the businesses as well as building resilience for these businesses in case of a future shock that emerges that affects their business.
COVID gives us an opportunity now to strengthen, to re-strategize, to re-engage the stakeholders, and the stakeholders here at government, because you see governments are responsible for making policies. They are responsible for coming up with laws. What we want to see is that women voices are included in these policies, because it's only through policies then that we can able to change or address the challenges that women are facing.
To cushion entrepreneurs against the pandemic, the government of Kenya took a number of measures, including the announcement of a stimulus package designed to help the country go through the COVID-19 crisis.
Fellow Kenyans, in sharing the burden occasioned by the present global health pandemic, do today order and direct as follows: that the National Treasury shall cause the immediate reduction of the VAT rate from 16% to 14% effective the 1st of April 2020. A 100% tax relief for persons earning a gross monthly income of up to Kenya shillings 24,000.
We appreciate the government's directive to reduce the VAT to 14% from 16%, because we, as small businesses, we are able to source for our raw materials at a reduced price. But then again, you need to sell these products to the market, but you find the market is not spending as much. So you have the raw materials at a reduced price, but you don't have the market to take your finished goods.
Tunasikia pesa inapeanwa. Kama mimi sijawahi shika chochote. Iko wamama wengi wanalia wachapata chochote.
Despite the many challenges presented by the pandemic, opportunities have also been realized.
We were able to take advantage of these opportunities to launch our detergents, to launch our hand washes, our sanitizers, and we're still producing it. We will not stop even after COVID. We feel there is longevity in these new products we managed to launch during the COVID pandemic.
But one thing COVID has done, as much as it has paralyzed business, There is nobody who doesn't now use technology, because if it is meetings, we can't go to the meetings, we have to do them online. Everything is technology. Like this WhatsApp thing, we thought it was just a gadget of kupiga mdomo, but it has become a marketing tool. So we sell a lot. We send our assortment on the groups we have, because we have WhatsApp groups, and you get the orders. So online has become, and I think now that will be the mode of marketing in future.
And what does the future hold for women in micro, small and medium enterprises in Kenya?
When women are given equal opportunity to resources, to access markets, to access opportunities, to access innovations, then they are able to increase or leverage their social, political and economic capital, so that they can actually gain or get that financial independence.